Hey, this is the first module for Math 118, Mathematics for College Health Sciences 2. In this module, we're going to go over the Cartesian plane, graphing the Cartesian plane, graphing lines, and properties of lines such as slope, x and y intercepts. So let's get started. So in order to start graphing, we need to understand how the Cartesian plane works. The Cartesian plane is composed of a two-dimensional grid pattern. There are two axes. There's an x-axis that runs horizontally and a y-axis that runs vertically. Okay, each of the axes is like a number line. So on the x-axis over to the right, we have our positive values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of the values are evenly spaced. And then over to the left, we have our negative values, -1, -2, -3, 4, and so on. Okay, our y-axis, which runs vertically, has the positive values going upwards, kind of like a thermometer, and then the negative values run downwards. When we're graphing in a Cartesian plane, we require having ordered pairs of values. We say ordered because we always have the x value come first and the y value come second. And if we change the order, then it changes the location. So to plot the point 4, 3, our point A in the Cartesian plane, we interpret that as having an x value of 4. And a y value of positive 3. So our point A at the point 4, 3 would be located up in that upper right quadrant. We call that space of the Cartesian plane quadrant 1 or Q1. The other quadrants are labeled moving counterclockwise around the Cartesian plane. So Q2 has negative x values and positive y values. Q3, quadrant 3, has negative x values and negative y values. And quadrant 4, or Q4, has positive x values but negative y values. So we can locate the remaining points in this Cartesian plane. So if I want to locate the point B, it has an x value of positive 2 and a y value of negative 3. It would be located in quadrant 4 as shown. Point C would be in quadrant 3. An x value of negative 3 and a y value of negative 5. Point D has an x value of 0 and a y value of 7. So our 0 is located between positive 1 and negative 1. It is the y-axis for an x value of 0, and then a y value of 7 would place it as shown. And then our last point, E equals negative 3, 8. An x value of negative 3 and a y value of positive 8 would be right there. Okay, so that's the basics, and then we can add on to make it more interesting. So one thing to know is that axes always have to be labeled using the same intervals, so either going up by 2s or 1s or 4s. But the axes can be different. So we've got a practice activity here, and I want you to think about how you could label and this axis so that the x-axis, the horizontal axis, goes from negative 10 to 10, and the y-axis goes from negative 20 to 20, and then plot the 4 points listed. So pause this video and give it a go on your own. Okay, excellent. So now that you've taken a chance to try this on your own, let's go through the solution. So one thing is, because x has to go from negative 10 to 10, I've labeled the x-axis with the label x, and notice that I'm going up by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Every tick counts as 2. The y-axis has to go from negative 20 to 20, so I'm going up the y-axis, which is labeled by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. You might be able to figure that out through trial and error or by inspection, or sometimes it can be useful to have a formula. So whatever the maximum value is we're trying to get to, and the number of ticks we have, or the number of grid squares we have to get there, if we take the maximum value we're trying to get there and figure out how many tick marks we have to achieve that value. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grids. So I take 10, divide by 5, and I know I should go up by 2s. Similarly, on the y-axis, I want to get to a maximum value of 20, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares to get there. 20 divided by 5 helps me know that I should go up by 4s. Okay, something else to pay attention to. The first 2 points were fairly easy to locate because they were right at an intersection. The values were labeled on the axis. For C, we have an x value of 6, but a y value of 5. So we did have to try and estimate that. So on the y value, we know that the one line is 4, and the upper, and then the next line is 8. So 6 would be at the midway point, and so 5 would be located a quarter of the way up. Similarly, to locate point D, the x value was 2, the y value was negative 10. Negative 10 is located halfway between negative 8 and negative 12. Okay, great job with this first video. The next video is going to look at how we can graph based on formulas and apply that for modeling real mathematical relationships. Okay, great work, and tune into the next video.